Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I've got Robert Kirkman and Cory Walker's Destroyer. When I was in Second and Charles and saw this book, I had just finished rereading Volume 1 of Invincible, so I was very much prepped to grab me some more Kirkman and Walker since they were the team that started and created Invincible. This is a Marvel Max book. So it's definitely meant for adults. It's like a R-rated movie and a comic book, but I really quite enjoyed it. If you've seen the Invincible video, you know that Robert Kirkman's one of my favorite, pop culture or superhero type of writers, and this book is a good reason why. I think I've been reading a lot of really serious work lately too, which is my preference, but I just needed a mental break from that and have been enjoying going back to the well done superhero books. Something like this is like a 5 or 6 issue mini series, but you can read it in 25 minutes or so and just enjoy the fun and the art. It's totally over the top. You can see it has the Invincible kind of aesthetic where it's superheroes, but it's super gory, and obviously the guns are for pussies. This is not a comic book it's not a superhero comic book for kids, but like with all of Kirkman's stuff, it has a heart as well. And I think that's why I always come back to him when I'm thinking about this type of comic book or this type of entertainment, is that he always grounds his characters in a sense of family in a really touching way. So this story, you have Destroyer, who's an old man. He's been kept alive by his superpowers a little long and works for the government, killing bad guys, but he's been having heart attacks, and so he feels like he needs to go on a mission to eliminate all of the bad guys that might want to take out his family. And there's a lot of really touching moments in the family where Kirkman's totally willing to spend time just in the family environment and building that. In a mini series this short, you could spend a lot of time just trying to get to the superhero, blow him up, but he always comes back and grounds it in the touching stuff, and then goes back into the action. But even in the action, he always knows how to make it like a little emotionally more relevant. So this is Destroyer going to like clean up everybody that needs to be cleaned up, and the first one he goes to see is his own brother in jail, and they have this kind of heated conversation about their brotherly relationship, and then they get into a fight. His brother turns into a monster, and I assume his brother's invulnerable, so he reaches down his throat and rips out his heart. And it's that like over the top ripping out your heart, but also the brotherly kind of angst that makes Kirkman's writing always so interesting. Here's some more of the really touching stuff where his wife's like talking to him about like, hey, I know I don't come first. I've always come second to like saving the world, and I've made my peace with that. But like I can still not like it. I don't have to like it. She says, I've had 53 years of getting used to coming second. It doesn't mean I have to like it. And so that's where he shines. That's like an intense little emotional moment that's revealing and touching. And then that silent beat, and then her asking, how much time do you have, like with these heart attacks that are coming. Here's a really funny character design over the top. Put some disk drive slits there instead of nipples. The big bad guy is Scar. This is like his main nemesis. This must be some old character that Kirkman revived. I don't know enough about this to know who all these people are, but it doesn't really matter. You get the idea. This is his main nemesis, and he's captured Destroyer's daughter, and is going to kill her in front of him. And then all the other big bads come out, and he gets to have a big battle with them. And you get more of that like over the top, just blood everywhere, Invincible-esque violence, eyes popping out and stuff. His son-in-law has also become a superhero, and at Destroyer's request and the daughter's request, has quit for a while, but comes back to help save her. So there's like this family inheritance there with that character. and then that pretty much ends the penultimate issue. And so you're thinking kind of like, where does the story go from here? I mean, we see the son-in-law kind of taking the mantle when Destroyer can't, and beating the big villain at the end. And you think, okay, well, like, the series over, and then you get one more issue, and it's like, well, what's it gonna go from here? And we know it's got to be like an emotional wrap up with the family and whether he's going to die or not. But Kirkman manages to write one more fight scene where he does have another heart attack, and he basically goes and fights off death. And it's kind of a funny scene where they're like, "Come on, would you just die? Like we're gonna get in so much trouble if we can't collect you, and like if we can't take you, we're gonna take someone else." And then they're like, "Oh, wait, no, it's just a mistake." Um, and so he's able to come back and like is kind of miraculously healed, and is going to go on for longer. But now his daughter has kind of taken the same stance that his wife took about realizing that she doesn't have to like it, but her husband, the son-in-law, can now take on the mantle of Destroyer for Keen, her father. And so there's kind of this unfortunate burden that the family has to bear. And then there's again this really funny, she doesn't have the little disc drives anymore. She's got some little band-aids on there, some black tape, but she thinks she's got him figured out and doesn't realize she's dealing with the new guy. And I mean, you can see all throughout, Cory Walker's art's awesome. He's a really pared down artist, but he's always got like these perfect compositions and awesome designs. And then when he gets to a shot like this, he really sells it. The colors in the book, some pages like this I kind of like. There's other pages, especially when it's just like the down to earth stuff, where I feel like maybe it's a little over rendered. I'm always a fan of Bill Crabtree's coloring over top of Cory Walker. This more like rendered stuff with gradients isn't as great, but some of the pages like this look really good, and overall the book's a really cool book. So yeah, just like kind of good fun. I don't want to say good dumb fun, because like I pointed out, there's some good emotional core to it, but it's a really fun quick read to get you some good over the top violent superheroics. And I think I've been needing that lately, so I enjoyed this. And I'll probably always go to Kirkman and people like him for these kind of reads. One of the best ways that you can support what we're doing here on the channel is to support the books that Sean's putting out through Living the Line. The first book that he put out is The Strange Death of Alex Raymond. It's a collaboration between Dave Sim and myself. The book was recently nominated for an Eisner Award in the Best Reality-Based category. It's a deep dive into the artwork and methods of Alex Raymond and the mystery surrounding his death in a car crash. So if you haven't grabbed that already, please do. There's also Yokoyama Yuichi's Plaza, which is a totally intense manga by an artist who has somehow figured out how to distill manga down to its purest essence. This book was successfully funded on Kickstarter, but if you missed the Kickstarter, you can order it through any comic store, any bookstore, Amazon, any place that you would normally get your graphic novels from. The Abolition of Man is a 5-issue mini-series done by myself and Sean in collaboration with the Midjourney AI. What you're seeing here is the cover to issue 1 and the first couple pages of issue 1. This first issue, we fed it an essay by C.S. Lewis, and this is just the imagery that the computer spat back at us. Issues 2 and 3 are a narrative, starting with the story that I wrote when I was 21, and then Sean's going to write issue 3, picking up where I left off. In this one, I'm kind of trying to force the AI to give me the images I want, and then doing some tweaking in Photoshop to get these kind of colored looks on it. For issue 4, we're turning the task of writing over to the AI as well. So the AI has written the script, and then we've just put that into the Midjourney AI, and it's turned out art. The script and the art is some of the absolutely most horrific stuff I've ever seen. We're a bit scared to even publish this issue. And I don't have any art to show for it yet, but Sean and I have decided to do a 5th issue of Abolition as well, because we have someone who we're really excited to have on board, providing an essay for that 5th issue that we'll illustrate, and we'll announce more about that soon. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that then you get them.